locked in to the Sounds Like Fun podcast.
It don't matter underground or the mainstream. We taking over everything, American dreams. Make a move, long nights to the light beams. Urban Stone, we the motherfucking A-team. I go crazy on this track, man, I spit.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of the Sounds Like Fun podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. As always, you can check out this podcast on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Also, you can check me out on SoundCloud, on my SoundCloud page, which always I link in the description below. You can check out my other podcast, the Dojo Talk podcast, which I co-host with the Anti-Cool. We cover combat sports and all of that good stuff. But also I post the Sounds Like Fun episodes on there as well. And since I'm currently on vacation, I got a lot of free time on my hands for the next couple of weeks. So I do plan on uploading a lot of content, which will be on that SoundCloud page. So go on over, check out the SoundCloud link that I have, which I will always leave in the description below. And just be on the lookout because plenty of reviews and just content will be coming. Have a lot of free time on my hands and I plan on making the best of it. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, other than that, not a ton going on. Kind of just relaxing on vacation. I'm recording this to burn time until I have an eye appointment that I'm dreading. Really dreading going to. But nah, man, I got album review in store. I'm hoping to pump out some more album reviews. I know it's been about a week or two since I've done one, but I got this one coming, and I'm probably going to record another one literally when I finish this. So, like I said, lots of content coming, but I don't want to keep you guys here forever, so we will just go ahead and jump right into it. Today's album that I will be talking about is Room 25 from Noname. If you know Noname, or maybe you don't, she is a Chicago MC. Room 25 is a follow-up to her 2016 project that was entitled Telephone, which she got a lot of critical acclaim for. I'm not sure if Telephone was an official album. I thought it was, but because I've seen some publications say that Room 25 is her debut album, and that Telephone was just a mixtape. And then I've also seen it like flip the other way around, where people were saying like this is her follow-up album. I don't know. I feel like mixtapes nowadays, the line between mixtape and album is kind of blurred anyway. I feel like mixtapes back in the day, it was always you were rapping over other people's beats. Most mixtapes nowadays are like all original music, so I don't know. Who knows what an album or a mixtape is anymore? But I'm considering this her follow-up album to Telephone. So yeah, we'll just jump right into it. First thoughts when I first put this on, and keep in mind, since Telephone is the only other project that I know of that she has, that's kind of like my only line of reference to her, so I might make a few comparisons here and there, because I can only compare her to the work that I've heard from her, and that's the only project that she has out prior to this. So coming from Telephone, which I can say in honesty, Noname for me in general is sometimes a hit or a miss, just because of like her delivery, that spoken wordish kind of delivery that she has. So I didn't love Telephone as much as everyone else did. Like I thought it was a good project, but it wasn't something that I honestly went back to a ton. Other than Diddy Pop, I love Diddy Pop. That's the jam. That song I still go back and listen to. But I've always just enjoyed her pen game. Like she's a really good writer, but the delivery of the music wasn't always like a smash in the park for me. So coming up for Room 25, not sure what I was getting, but I was genuinely interested to see, what direction she would go, if the music would change at all. So I can say after first listen, production on this album definitely stood out. I think it's gotten a lot more livelier. It sounds more polished. It's more refined. It has a lot more feeling to it. You get a lot more usage of live instrumentation. A lot of these tracks, there's a lot going on in the background. And I got to give production shout outs, which I only found 3, with Felix, Brian Sanborn, and Luke Titus. So shout outs to those gentlemen for really crafting, I think, a good sound for Noname to go over. Like I said, lots of live instrumentation. It can be jazzy, it can be soulful. They give you a lot of good vibes. Like, for instance, the track Window starts off with this really just serene and really just gorgeous like string arrangement. And then on the flip side, you get tracks like Blaxploitation, which literally sound like an instrumental that was like right out of like a 70s movie. Like this could have been like the intro to Black Belt Jones or something like that. A bit more like upbeat, a lot more funky, a nice little bass guitar going. So I like the just the different vibes and feelings that she was able to get. So like I said, you get stuff that are funky, you get stuff that's a bit more soulful, and then you also have a few tracks that are really kind of really somber, but no matter what the vibe is, like just all of the different kinds of instrumentations, whether it be the strings, the drums, keys, or whatever instruments are going off in the background. I think this album was a perfect palette of sound for her to go over. I think it fit what she wanted to do really well. And Noname herself, if you listen to Noname, like I said before, she has this kind of spoken word like delivery. It's very poetic in the way she delivers her bars. It's not, it's different. It's different. And I think that's one thing that kind of makes her, like, you either love her or hate her for it. Like, it's just one of those things that her delivery is so kind of distinct that either you'll, like I said, you'll love it, or it might be a complete turnoff. But for me, somehow on this project, I felt like it came across a lot better. And I don't know if it was just because I enjoyed this production so much more than what was on Telephone, but there was something about this project that I felt like her flow and delivery didn't bother me as much as it did on Telephone. So I guess I can only give credit to the production. I just think the overall sound of the project, like, maybe it was the sound of it was so good that I just kind of didn't mind her delivery. It didn't bother me as much. But yeah, it's kind of a bit of the same of what we've heard from her. Like I said, she's very literally soft spoken. Like, she has a very kind of just really soft and kind of like patient voice. I do like, though, with some of these tracks, definitely like Blaxploitation, and there were a few others on here where she kind of picks her flow up, because the Blaxploitation beat is very, like I said, it's a bit more upbeat. It's kind of a lot going on, and she kind of matches like the franticness, I guess, for lack of a better term, of the track. So I did appreciate that. Like, her flow was able to change like just enough to kind of mix things up, keep things interesting. So I thought that was dope that on a few tracks she was able to weave in and out of these beats in a different way that I hadn't really heard before or noticed before. So yeah, her delivery, like I said, if you love what she does on Telephone, she's still just as poetic, just as witty with words. Definitely a wordsmith. And I was thinking while I was listening to this, and I hate to compare her to to any other rappers, but she kind of reminds me somewhat of Open Mike Eagle. Not necessarily, how do I say this? Not really in delivery, because they don't really rap the same at all in terms of like their flow and just how they deliver their words. But I think kind of like Open Mike Eagle, she has this thing about her voice to where her voice is so easy on your ears that if you weren't really like paying attention to what she was saying, like you just kind of had this on in the background, you would think she was just kind of just whispering like sweet messages to you. Like, you would think it was just a bunch of sweet pleasantries that she would be talking about. But then when you actually listen to what she's saying, there's a lot lyrically going on in terms of topics she's touching on. Like, this album is very self-reflective. She unpacks a lot in terms of dealing with personal issues, self-image, self-esteem, sexuality, her outlook on, America and black relations, as with the track Blaxploitation. It's observant of her surroundings, so she definitely goes in on a lot of a lot of good topics. I really like the track Prayer Song, where she goes in kind of about police brutality and kind of America, this kind of current climate in America in terms of things that we're dealing with and have dealt with for quite some time. The song Don't Forget About Me was a really kind of like deep look of her kind of dealing with her own, I guess, coming to terms with mortality, knowing that, you won't be here forever, and she just kind of wants to be remembered, hoping that she's, I guess, done enough while she's here that, all her family and friends and the people that she cares about the most, will have fond memories of her long after she's gone. Yeah, and it's just a lot of that on this album. And she has, obviously a few relationship themed like tracks. There was a line on here, and I do not have it in front of me, but she definitely gets really vulnerable in terms of, I don't say relationship goals, but just kind of like those honest thoughts, I guess, from her perspective that you would have during a relationship, or even if it's not like a full-fledged relationship, you just kind of like being in a situation, I would say, with somebody. There was a line on one of these songs where she mentioned like all of these things that she did for the dude, like I bought you like game 2 tickets to the playoffs and so on and so forth, and it was like, you still don't love me, something, I can't remember, I did not write the the line down, but she just has a lot of those vulnerable moments on this album, and I think that's something else I appreciate. It is a very, it's honest, but it's really weird because it's delivered in a way, like I said, she's so soft spoken, it's very witty, kind of quirky almost, but when you really unpack what's going on, it's very honest. It's honestly, some of it is a bit like heavy to listen to. Like I said, if you really paying attention to what she's saying, like it's a lot going on with some of these tracks. But nah, man, I was really thoroughly enjoyed this. Only 11 tracks, which makes it a pretty easy listen. You could give this multiple listens, and it doesn't, the way the album flows, and it's a good, easy listening experience. Good use also of features on this album. I'm not sure who Felix is, but pretty much every song he's on is fire. So shout outs to Felix. Raven Lene had a good appearance on Montego Bay. Ace with Saba and Smino, man, these three together are just great. Like these three are like a little mini super group together, man. They fit so perfect. Saba bodied, man. Saba killed his verse at the end, and I like Smino because he can kind of sing and rap, so he adds a nice little dynamic to them. And of course, Noname does her thing. So I'd really love that track. Those three need to make like a project, or at least like an EP together, because their styles just seem to complement each other so well. So yeah, not a ton of features, but the ones that she did have definitely contributed. Shout outs to Benjamin Earl Turner, also on the track Part of Me. I really loved his verse that he dropped. Yeah, there was just a lot going on this album, but it was such a good and enjoyable listen. So I guess some of my favorites, if I had to pick, and it's only 11 songs, and to be honest, like out of the 11, there aren't really any songs on this album that I dislike. Some songs I may like more than others, but there weren't really any songs on here that, I thought were trash or anything like that. Like every song pretty much had its place. It all fit within the scope of what she was trying to do. Nothing really sounded, out of place. So in regards, that was great. Favorite tracks, as I mentioned, Ace with Smino and Saba. Like I said, these three are just, this is a trio that needs to make songs together more often. I just felt like they just kind of flexed on that track, man. They just all got in their little groove and did their thing. But like I said, I really love Saba's verse. Saba definitely bodied hit. So that would probably be my favorite song on the album. The closer track, No Name, featuring Adam Ness and Y'all, if I'm saying that right, YAW. I would assume that's Y'all. Love the production on here, just the strings and the pianos going on, and kind of the theme of the track is No Name kind of talking about in a roundabout way, like situations and just things in her life that made her go by the name No Name. I just thought that was a very interesting way that she did it and tied it all together. I would definitely recommend like reading the lyrics to this album, because for one, she's a great wordsmith. So if for nothing else, you'll get to see what a top-notch pen game, in my opinion, looks like. But I just really like the way she describes it and kind of weaves words together to kind of describe like what brought her to go by No Name, and like these are kind of the situations and things that make her who she is. Blaxploitation is definitely a favorite. I just love that kind of like throwback 70s vibe that it has to it. And like I said, I really like how that track kind of, the way how upbeat that beat is. She couldn't be like as subdued on that track as she is on others. Not to say like she's not yelling or screaming over the instrumental, but like she had to pick like the speed of her flow up to kind of match the upbeat tempo, of the instrumental. So that's definitely a favorite. And the content on that track is also really dope. The opener song, Self, really, really great opener to this album. Really just smooth, jazzy, like lounge music, almost what I got from that beat. And I love just her, like I said, her voice is so soft spoken, and it kind of makes it kind of funny to listen to when she's kind of like doing these really like subtle brags, because her voice is so soft spoken, but like her bars are so confident. So it's just a good like juxtaposition, I guess. So yeah, Self was a really strong opener for this album. I feel like if you listen to Self, it really does set the tone, and if you like Self, you'll probably like the rest of this album. But yeah, I like I said, I like pretty much every song on here. Like Regal was dope. Part of Me was dope. With You was dope. Window, Felix killed Window. Really like the hook on that. Yeah, this is a really good listen. And like off top, since I've been listening to this album, which has probably only been like 4 days, maybe something like that. I've already gone back to this way more times than I went back to Telephone. So yeah, the replay value for this album has been there. I'm not sure if this will be on like my top 20, because like I said, I like No Name. I don't love her as much as everyone else, but I did thoroughly enjoy this project, and I do find myself going back to it. I really like the sound of it. I like how she sounds over these instrumentals that were crafted. Everything in this album just really worked well. And like I said, her content, man, she's just really witty, a good wordsmith, deals with very realistic and relevant topics that I think a lot of people could relate to. I just kind of like the way she deals with or the way she expresses her feelings, just in regards to like her own self-image and things like that. I just think it's really dope. Like her vulnerability and the way she's able to describe things is just really, really dope. Something I really respect about her. And like I said, her pen game's awesome. So she makes it entertaining to listen to. Yeah, man, I would definitely recommend giving this album a listen. If you have not listened to No Name before, I think this would definitely be a good project to give a listen and give a shot. Like I said, it's only about 11 songs. You can get through this kind of quick, and you can form your opinion pretty quickly. Like I said, with the track Self, if you listen to about the first 4 songs, I think that'll give you a good indication of what you're getting into. And if you can get with those first 4 songs, I think you would thoroughly enjoy the rest of this project, and probably even going back to Telephone, you probably would want to give that a listen too. But yeah, man, No Name, Telephone, this is a pretty dope project, man. Pretty dope project. Great production. Really just nice and thoughtful, poetic lyrics. You know, if like I said, if you can get past her delivery, I think that would be the only thing that would hinder her from a lot of people. It's just the way she delivers her bars, because it's so soft spoken and it's kind of like this offbeat spoken word kind of delivery. But if that isn't a bother to you, I don't see why you wouldn't why you wouldn't love this album. So that's Noname, Room 25. I will leave links in the description below so you can listen to it. I'll leave a link to her Bandcamp so you can listen and purchase if you like. Definitely support good artists who put out good music. And yeah, that's it. I will not keep you guys here forever. Go give Room 25 a listen. Check out all relevant links in the description below. I'll leave links to my other podcasts. You can check that out and all the other stuff that I'm working on. And just be on the lookout. More reviews will be coming because music just keeps dropping and it's hard to keep up. But I got some time on my hands, so I'm gonna try to keep up. But nah, man, Noname, Room 25. Go check it out because I said so. But thank you guys for listening. This has been another episode of the Sounds Like Fun podcast. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.